Thank you, Rabbi Glasser. Dear friends, on behalf of the members of the Board of Trustees, it is a true privilege, especially as we only do this once every number of years, to welcome you today to the Chag HaSemikhah celebration. This is a historic day in the life of our yeshiva. Mazel tov to our prestigious honoree, my friend, my predecessor, Rabbi Joel Schreiber. While our president, Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman, will introduce Joel in a few minutes, I just want to thank Joel for so many years of leadership, for continuing to be that leader for all of his fellow trustees, for his mentorship, for being our most critical link to the foundations of this yeshiva. Joel represents a group of trustees of this institution who are mismachim of Rav Yosef Ber Soloveitchik, Zichrono Livracha, and who have taken upon themselves the responsibility to perpetuate the Rav's Torah. What a bracha it has been for all of us to have Joel and to continue to have Joel in our lives. We have all been to many school graduations, shul dinners, federation banquets, and other important institutional events. At each of those events, the chairman of the board gets up to share some appropriate words, while the guests sitting in the audience are thankful to have a few minutes to check email, text messages, or even stock quotes. I would like to take a few minutes to distinguish my role here this afternoon in one particular regard. You see, while I just said that I'm here representing my fellow trustees, the RIETS trustees actually represent generations of North American Jewry who made it possible for this Chag HaSemikhah to take place. We are literally standing on the shoulders of giants, leaders of our communities, who not only founded this yeshiva 125 years ago, but built the support for the mission of this yeshiva in every shul, synagogue, temple, even shtibel across the Americas. At the core of that mission was the notion that we, as a community, would fund 100% of the annual cost to teach, develop, and train the most gifted and promising young men into the future leaders of the Jewish people. When I was only a few years out of graduate school, I sat in a well-established shul where the senior rabbi, a musmach of this yeshiva, orchestrated a Shabbos appeal for the yeshiva. Even though I had graduated from yeshiva college and I had studied in the Mazer Yeshiva program, I had never stopped to internalize the incredible role that RIETS plays in the Orthodox Jewish experience. The fact that it literally generates nearly all of our pulpit rabbis, principals, rabbanim, youth leaders, teachers, thinkers, and authors. That was the first time I ever wrote a check to RIETS, and Baruch Hashem, I have never stopped. I truly do not think that I would be standing here today if it were not for that appeal on that Shabbos. The impact that each and every musmach of this yeshiva can have on enabling the continuation of our mission is immeasurable. Unfortunately, I believe that that particular synagogue stopped sponsoring appeals for RIETS over 20 years ago, as did most other congregations near and far. The rabbis and shul boards feel that they must focus on their own local needs, and it's understandable given the number of local needs. What they are forgetting is that RIETS is and always has been a local need. As musmachim of this yeshiva, who have been brought to this day through the support and the investment of so many, and who will continue to benefit from the programs and the ongoing training and support offered by RIETS, you cannot forget the mission of this yeshiva. you have the unique achrayus to do everything in your power to ensure that RIETS is there for the generation that follows you and for the generation that follows them. Whether you are that senior rabbi, or if you're that chairman of the board of the shul or of the school, you need to be the one who steps forward on behalf of your yeshiva. As I was sitting and thinking about an appropriate closing remark for my first Chag HaSemikhah as chairman, I was fortunate to find Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb's 1978 address to the RIETS Musmachim at his first Chag HaSemikhah following the passing of President Belkin. You will not be surprised by my conclusion. I quickly reached, after reading Rabbi Lamb's speech. Rabbi Lamb's words were literally perfect, and I feel it very appropriate to share his closing few sentences as we celebrate the first Chag HaSemikhah after the passing of our Rav and Rosh HaYeshiva, Rabbi Lamb. I quote, "My message to you, the Musmachim of the past several years, know that as Rabbanim, you represent a tradition more ancient than that of medicine, more sacred than that of law, more noble than that of commerce and trade. Know that you are but the latest link in a chain that contains the greatest luminaries in the history of our ancient people, and that Masorah is committed into your hands for safekeeping and transmission to those who will follow you. And know above all that your yeshiva stands behind you, your Rosh Yeshiva stand beside you, and the ideals of Torah you learned here stand before you, to keep you company in your loneliness, to allay your apprehensions, to mitigate your frustrations, to enhance your courage, and to recharge you with the inspiration to succeed despite all obstacles in the marvelous and wondrous tasks which you have undertaken to transform a mere congregation to a Kehila Kedusha, a mere school to a Makam Torah, and the Jewish community to the Am Hashem. It is now my great pleasure to call to the podium our president of the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary and of Yeshiva University, Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman, who will preside over our ceremony. Thank you.
Lance, come here, Lance. Come to the middle and present Joel officially. Stay here, Joel.
I stay here?
Where are we? Oh, this is yours. Here. Rabbi Berman, I am honored to be with you today to present Rabbi Joel M. Schreiber for the Eitz Chaim Award.
Thank you so much.
Joel Schreiber, Rabbi Joel Schreiber. 60 years ago, you sat in the seats at Lamport at your very own Chag HaSemikhah.
True.
Your Rebbe then, Rabbi Joseph B. Soloveitchik Zatzal, became your Rebbe for life. Your friends then, including my dear precious uncle, Rabbi Julius Berman, became your friends for life. The Torah that you learned, the halacha that you embraced, and the hashkafa that you studied infused, informed, and inspired the course of your life. Born into a treasured family of Jewish leadership, you, together with Judy, raised a family nurtured and nourished on your Torah values. You are so proud of all of your children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, B'nai and B'nos Torah, who have internalized and forged their own path in Jewish leadership and their embrace of Yiddishkeit. Joel, Yeshiva University is an essential part of your identity, and it rests deep in your heart. You reflect so much of what is unique and wonderful about our yeshiva. Through your communal and philanthropic commitments and through your personal warmth and graciousness, you embody the sacred values of Torah, of loving kindness and deep benevolence. As a trustee and past chairman of the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary, you have been both a trustworthy steward and a visionary leader of our yeshiva, ensuring the future of the Jewish community that remains ever strong and bright. For through the education, values, and families nurtured by RIETS graduates, the trajectory of the Jewish community is shaped, and in turn, through your commitment, sacrifice, guidance, and leadership, you shape the very institution through which future Jewish leaders emerge. The award you receive today is the Eitz Chaim Award, the highest honor that we give to our lay leadership. Eitz Chaim hi l'machazikim ba. The yeshiva and the Torah has been your Eitz Chaim, and you in turn have planted the seeds for vast orchards of Jewish leaders and deep forests of Jewish faith. Your commitment to transmitting our Torah values to future generations has enabled our institution to be a veritable tree of life, which will sustain our Torah heritage firmly planted in the minds and hearts of our graduates, Talmidim, and their families. Joel, you and I know that I would not be standing here today if it was not for you. You have always supported, advocated, and guided for me. With your characteristic smile, humility, and warmth. From when I was a young student at this yeshiva and simply a nephew of your dear friend, to when we used to daven together at the Jewish Center, until my position today. I know the love that I feel deep in my heart is shared by everyone in this room, by your fellow trustees, by your friends, and by your family. You are one of those rare individuals who exudes such chaim, such warmth and joy, that all who walk in your presence are elevated, lifted, and inspired. This is a deeply personal moment of appreciation, not just for our hallowed institution, but for all of us who are present here today. You have earned the admiration of your Rabbi, deep respect of your colleagues, the affection of your family, friends, and peers, and the deep gratitude of generations of Talmidim. Representing all of these people, on behalf of our yeshiva, Joel, I thank you. We are forever grateful. Mazel tov. Thank you. Let me present you this award. Joel, let me give you the stand over there to your left. I'll give you the award first. You can step over the award. Stand back so Mark and Lansky are in the picture.